Hello, colleagues. This is John Herrera from MuniTemps, and the City Speak article for today is you're new on the job. You're a new finance director, controller, accounting manager, or whatever position. What now? What do? You take stock, you take an inventory of all the work that has to be done, what's behind, what's current, but you realize that this project is like an elephant. And it's overwhelming. And the first thing I'll say to you is what I've said to myself whenever I take on a new job: don't panic. That's the first thing. There's a saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So there's very few examples of how it was done before. You come in and the predecessor for your position didn't leave very much work paper or examples of how this report or that accounting procedure or whatever the task in your new job as a finance director, controller, or accounting manager is to be done. What do? Again, don't panic. When you first come in, you may have a lot of emergencies going on. It could be that your organization is about to lose millions of dollars of grants if audit reports are not completed, or some compliance document is not prepared and submitted to the appropriate agency. You have perhaps bank reconciliations that are not getting done, or whatever task that's both for the current year as well as for prior year, or even prior years, plural in some cases. What do? It's an elephant. Break it down one bite at a time. And one of the things that I'll tell you that I do is kind of like a triage. What things need to get done right away? Well, for me, number one, I don't want to lose this $3 million of grant funding, or I don't want to lose significant amount of dollars. That gets my attention first. There is perhaps some current year accounting work that's going to have to be falling behind. We deal with stopping the bleeding first. Is there any major risk exposure? Are we losing money somewhere? But most importantly, usually in local government, we're talking about the potential loss of millions of dollars of grant funding, whether that's transportation funding, block grant funding, whatever kind of funding. You've got to make sure you do a triage and say, don't panic, it's going to be okay. We got to keep it together. It's going to be all right. We're going to eat this elephant one bite at a time. The first 60 to 90 days of your job as a finance director, controller, or accounting manager are critical. This is where you show your ability to make good decisions. How do you proceed with handling the current situation? The city manager, the general manager, the chief executive, they don't really know what to do. They rely on you as the municipal finance officer or the CFO or whatever your job title is to make recommendations, to ensure that everything gets done in the best possible order. That's why you get paid the big bucks. And I get it. I know what it's like when you're sitting in this triage situation, especially when you just started. So there's going to be a lot of work. There's no sugarcoating that one. The next 60 to 90 days, it's going to be a lot of work. And it's probably going to take another 12 months to get things caught up. But really, when you go into an organization, especially a local government organization that's way behind, it's a 2-year project. And you're going to manage the expectations of the city manager, general manager, the chief executive, to ensure that they work with you and you will get their buy-in to give you the time to get the objectives and priorities done, as well as you have an obligation to meet those deadlines as well. So understand, for 60 to 90 days, they're going to be critical to your success. Utilize the staff that you have when you first come into the assignment, but don't overburden them. Don't overtax them. You can use them as much as you can, but understand that in the end, it's all you. And so really tap the other resources from regional organizations, from maybe your colleagues at another city, or maybe individuals from other department that have the knowledge of the project that you're working with, but you're going to have to do a lot of research. You're really going to have to connect with other agencies that might be able to help you with getting those reports done, or whatever the fires that you have to put out, or the triage that you're trying to implement in your accounting and finance work that you have to do. So again, don't panic. It's going to be fine. Step back, breathe, go out, go for a walk around City Hall or around the government office, and then come back and understand it's going to be okay. Again, it's going to be one bite at a time. This elephant that you're dealing with on this new project, it can't be done. It's just going to be done one bite at a time. And what's really funny is that sometimes as I sit in my office, I'll see the city manager or the assistant city manager or some of the other directors or staff, and they'll peek in, not because they're checking in on me, but because they want to make sure I'm still here, right? You're not going to run off and say, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? What did I get myself into? No, you can do this. You got this. Remember, you eat the elephant one bite at a time. Don't panic. So go for it. Yeah, you're going to be working 8 to 10 hours a day for a period of time. But the good thing is that you're the guy or the gal that are going to have to solve this challenge. This organization hired you. And so make sure that you put your best foot forward and plan and understand that it's going to be okay. Everybody wants you to succeed. But you're going to have to partner, you're going to have to communicate, you're going to have to engage, and you're going to have to manage the expectations of your superiors and the other staff and so forth. But it's all possible. This is not rocket science. It's add, subtract, multiply, and divide. It's debits and credits. And as a finance director, controller, or accounting manager, whatever your municipal finance job title is, understand that it's totally possible. Yes, you're new. Yes, it seems like a lot. And if you expect to get into an organization where everything is just maintenance of effort and all you're doing is stamping, rubber stamping, and everything's organized, that's not the place for you. I certainly didn't enjoy those kind of jobs. I like to come in. There's a colleague from one of the regional agencies here where I'm working at, and she said to me, "You're a fixer. You're a fixer." I said, "Fixer?" Nobody's ever told me that before, but that's what I am. I come in and I clean up the books and catch up everything so that when the permanent director comes in, that they'll have a better place to start from. And certainly municipal organizations are having a harder time recruiting. Pardon me, I'm getting over a cold. It's not COVID, by the way. It's a cold. I tested myself this morning for COVID, and it's not COVID. But they're having a hard time recruiting people because some finance directors or municipal finance officers, they want to come into a job where everything is caught up. The bank rec was done as of 30 days ago, and the audits are all current, and the budget is adopted. The capital improvement program budget's all caught up. The grant revenues are all accounted for. The compliance, the contracts, purchasing is being followed by all departments. Everybody's playing nice and following the procedures. But you know what? There's just not that many organizations like that. And like I said, I didn't enjoy that kind of work. I like being a troubleshooter, whereas this lady, Virginia is her name, she told me I'm a fixer, and I fix things, and then I move on to the next organization. I love that kind of work. Yeah, I never enjoyed just coming in to something that was totally established, and all I was doing is maintenance of effort. I like solving problems. I like looking for better ways of doing things, implementing technologies and so forth. But again, understand that, yeah, you're new. Where do you start? At the beginning. Do triage, take an assessment, do an inventory of everything that has to be done. And most importantly, don't panic. It's going to be okay. Everybody wants you to succeed, especially your boss. Never forget that. He or she may come down on you and say, "Hey, how come this is not done?" But it's just a frustration that he or she is feeling as a city manager, as the general manager, as a chief executive. So do your best and you'll succeed. This is John Herrera with Muni Temps and the City Speak article. Call me. I'd love to talk to you. I love your comments. Have a good day. Bye-bye.